Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash, you there? Ash, wake up. I don't think he hears me. It's amazing. He's asleep. Yep, I don't know where he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. It's just after the top of the hour. Ash will be joining us in a minute. I really don't know what he's doing. Cody, maybe call him. It's a duck. Every day he's a duck. He wakes up in a new world, and I never know what he's doing. 79 degrees in Victoria, Texas, under sunny skies. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you as it is every morning by the great folks at AT Deerland Feed. For over 50 years, AT Deerland Feed, the little gin that could. Today, there's a 30% chance of rain early, just a little bit after lunchtime. But we're looking at a high today again of 95 degrees. It's going to be hot. It's always hot. But that's called summer. We don't call it climate change in Victoria, Texas. Stephanie Connie, Ricky Champagne King, and Marvin Mickus Jr. First three on the podium today. Bobby Leister says, good morning, everybody, on a post-Caldo Wednesday, Thursday. There's Lisa Poole. Great friend of the program, great friend for a long time. Scott Snow, Greg Garcia, Rena Shear. Hello, Rena. I hope you have a splendid day. Adding Ash to the stage now. Hopefully he can hear.
Oh, I'm all here. We're good.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Glad you could join us.
There's some internet issues this morning up here, so just be patient with that.
Sound like Donald Trump. I mean, here we are.
You're a professional. We can work through this.
I am a chiseled veteran radio star. Scott Tomko, Linda Christ, Michelle Wilson Hawkins, Tommy Kingston. Hello, buddy. Crystal Mapp. Linda Christ, always the optimist. Eventually, you'll get the bugs worked out. Every try takes more than a few attempts. Yeah, eventually I'll just quit adding Ash. I have all the power here I am in control. I'm the Alexander Haig of morning radio.
Oh, I mean, I'll give you a little inside glimpse at what life is like where I am. I was ordering the things we need to make this show run more smoothly.
A rubber doll, one of those blow-up dolls? You get us a blow-up doll?
Got a nice camera. Got a decent laptop. But it doesn't all connect right now. So I went to order it all, and it said if you order now, it'll be here by Thursday. Well, that was based on my Victoria shipping address. So then when I changed my shipping address to Little Podunk, Oklahoma, it changed my delivery time till the middle of next week. So, yeah.
And that's okay because it's kind of like our mail here in Victoria. I want to mail something to the house next door. It goes from here to Corpus and then back. And sometimes it actually makes it to the house next door. There's Katie Jackson checking in. I told you she'd be hooked. She's a part of the show now. She is a No, wait, why is your mic not working? Oh, there you are. Are you there?
Once you drink the wine, you can't put it down.
That's exactly right.
So I'm going to reissue my challenge to the Democrats this morning as to why they continue to embrace communists and socialists as candidates. And El Sayed wins, who I learned yesterday has ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, and his father apparently has ties to terrorist organizations out of Egypt. So no wonder he fled Egypt.
Right. And he went to Colombia. He's just been at the communist, factory.
Yeah.
That's
so
the reality.
Why does the Democrats continue to embrace these candidates? They don't call them out because, and I'm going to surmise it's because they want the power and control of Congress. But what they don't realize is the traditional Democrats will not have power in this new Democratic Party. And Chuck Schumer no longer has the power and the sway that he thought, because for the first time ever in his political career since he started backing candidates, they lost on Tuesday in those primaries.
Is that better, Ricky? The thing is, Ash, these folks are essentially saying, Schumer especially has said, Democrats, in whatever iteration we happen to be at this moment, Democratic Socialists, admitted communists, we're all united against Donald Trump. And they've convinced themselves that the Donald has like dictatorial aspirations.
Yeah.
They really believe that Donald Trump is seeking to be a literal dictator. And as a result, they are doing what they have to do to preserve democracy. That they have got to do something, even if the folks that Chuck is endorsing want to do away with the very Senate that gives him the power he's got. They want to do away with the Senate. They want to change the office of president.
Yeah.
They don't like the Supreme Court. I mean, it just goes on and on. They don't want any borders. They don't want any money spent on police or the military. They want to do away with prisons. Everybody,
one of our local Democrats tried to compare the communist takeover of the Democrat Party to the Tea Party movement of the 90s that led, or the early 2000s that led to the MAGA movement now. There's no comparison because the Tea Party movement was founded in the principles that founded this country, and a group of Republicans who were tired of the taxation, the government reach, the growing, expanding government. Nowhere in the history of this nation has communism had a foothold. That's the major difference. You can't compare. It's the gaslighting that the Democrats like to do. You can't compare the Democrats being taken over by communists to the Tea Party movement of 20 years ago. It's BS, and it's a false equivalency because communists had nothing to do with the founding of this nation.
No, nothing at all. By the way, Bruce Woods, I often defer to Bruce's comments. Number one, because I know him well, and he's a smart and thoughtful guy. But number two, he kind of gives you a globalist perspective because he's spent time in several foreign countries, extended periods of time. He has a very good perspective on the way other countries, other populations view our country. And he just says the higher education system has been indoctrinated to the point of no return. I don't think there's any getting around the fact that if you're going to stereotype populations, that higher ed, college education folks in general lean extremely left and don't really understand how a buck is made. No, I mean,
we don't mock your travel.
Bruce said, I know you,
your travel, Bruce.
100%. I do not mock your travel. I 100% think that the places you've been and the things you've seen are not only cutting edge, I think they're very pertinent to today's world. I mean,
and we like to go to Mexico. I've vacationed there. You vacation there. Bruce has lived there. But in reality, what you have in Mexico is you have a government that is democratic purely in namesake only because the cartels have infiltrated and run that country much like a dictatorship. They rule with fear. And as we saw when we cracked down and killed the guy in Puerto Vallarta out in Jalisco, the cartel leader, they shut down cities and threatened people to get them back in line. The cartel is a dictatorship. They're just got a puppet government in Scheinbaum or whoever comes along to run it.
Why is it that Mexico, who is an ally of the United States, why hasn't Mexico ever reached out publicly? I know there's been covert things that have gone on and probably go on all the time. But why hasn't Mexico ever said, hey, help us, come down here and clean this up? I guess
They'll all die. All the leaders, if their president does that, dead. And anybody in that cabinet, dead.
I think it's extreme. I think you're not exaggerative at all. I think you're 100% correct.
And if you really want to see a war, if you really want to see American soldiers die to help the freedom of our other closest neighbor, it would be fighting the cartel. They are better armed than their military.
Yeah, and the thing is, it is absolutely a matter of national security. They are on our doorstep, literally. Ricky King says, when I was in Cuba, you could really see what socialist and communism looks like. Ash, by the way, Cuba, once again last night, complete blackout. The country, the grid failed.
Yeah.
You see that, Cody?
Well, do you remember COVID was part of it, and they were trying to say that, Cuba's healthcare system is so great compared to the U.S.
No, it's just stupid.
And then they showed you pictures of their hospitals. I wouldn't want to take a crap in those hospitals, let alone have any sort of medical procedure.
That's why they poop on the lettuce. That's why. I'll tell you this. Do you understand that you look at the healthcare system here in the country, and I said it then, 15 years ago, there was a statement, it's a tragedy in this highly developed country. 10% of the people don't have health insurance. So let's just say that was right. Let's say that number was accurate. For a 10% increase in the premiums that are paid by those of us who have health insurance, we could have given everybody a Blue Cross Blue Shield card. They'd all have health insurance. We could have just given it to them for a 10% increase. Instead, we got Obamacare. And then if you've got over 25 employees, you've got to offer this to your people. And if they don't take it, then you've got to be penalized. And it became punitive and, it was coercive. And the government was trying to tell you how to run your business. And it's just wrong.
And we're going to help you by giving you a high deductible plan whose the savings on your monthly premiums in a high deductible plan don't even make up the difference in most cases between your deductible for a PPO or an HMO, which HMOs are, for the most part, are kind of going away from what I've seen. But your PPO HMO deductible and the premium savings with a high deductible plan, the twain never meet. You don't make enough savings anymore on those high deductible plans month to month to not sign up for the other. It's negligible. And if you ever have an issue, your out of pocket is so high, you're going to be screwed in a high deductible plan.
You go from a $1,000 to a $5,000 deductible to save $25 a month. Yeah. So you save $300 over the year, but you're risking $4,000. That's how the insurance company gets a rate increase without raising the rate. Linda Chris says it's scary that China and the Muslims have gotten in bed together to overthrow our government. You can rest assured that China hates the Muslims. 100%. 100% hates the Muslims. And the Muslims have no use for the Chinese. But the Chinese know that woe fat ain't going to get elected in the United States. So the way that they destroy us from within is they give you Ahmad el-Asad, whatever his name is, whoever that muzzy is. That's what they do. They give him to you, and like sheep to a can of beer, the Democrats fall for it.
All the time.
Oh, Brent, you're just being a racist. I mean, Peter McNally is going to vote for James Tallarico. It's the same thing. You can look at James Tallarico and believe that you're seeing some type of Methodist minister. The dude was a junior high teacher. He's a junior high teacher. Number one, he's never made a payroll. Number two, he's clearly coming from the most financially mismanaged mega industry in our state. Educational funding. The worst industry in the state. And this bonehead is trying to be a senator from the state of Texas with his transgender embracing pulpit. You people have lost your minds if you vote for that fool. Unbelievable.
I agree.
Bruce Wood says, I have personally tended to people in Mexican General Hospital. If your family does not wipe your bottom, you lay in crap. If your family does not feed you, you eventually quit going to the restroom because you will not be fed. That is socialized medicine.
That's why there's a private healthcare system that actually does really well down there.
Absolutely, which is, what does it do? It just creates a bigger abyss between the haves and the have-nots.
You know, and it's interesting, your point earlier about the 10% of people that don't have healthcare. The majority of those 10% that don't have healthcare are also the same 10% that don't pay their fair share in taxes, and they choose not to have healthcare because they can walk into a hospital, offer cash, and it's faster and cheaper than them buying health insurance for themselves.
Well, you can't, like I was going to say, you shouldn't legislate that people buy health insurance. When I was a little guy, people didn't have health insurance. You didn't need it. You walked over, you paid your $5. The doctor said, he's got a strep throat. I'm going to send you some amoxicillin. Thanks, doc.
I mean, I heard stories about Dr. Went in Victoria, and he would trade things. If the mechanic needed medical help, he traded automobile services. If somebody had cows, he got beef. If somebody had chickens, he got chickens. You know, for those that couldn't afford to pay cash, from what I heard, Dr. Went never turned anybody away and allowed people to pay him however they could or whenever they could.
And you know what the problem with that is?
And you know what?
The government can't tax it. That's why they destroy it. They can't tax it. I do something for you, you mow my yard. There's no transaction. There's no money exchanged. They can't tax it, so they want to destroy it. When it's all said and done, all that's going to be left is the barter system. That's all that's going to be left. When the dollar completely devalues and crashes, when anarchy ensues, all that's going to be left is, what can you do for me? What can I do for you? We're all going to need each other. Yeah. I'll grow the corn, you make the slaw, you know?
The danger in what's happening right now with Tallarico, and I will put him on the moderate side of the socialist communists that have taken over.
Well, he's got to be to get elected, but what's he going to do when he's elected? He's just going to be a wrench in the gears.
But if you looked yesterday at El Said, when we talked a little bit about his platform, affordable housing, blah, 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 what the messaging that's going to come out of the mainstream media and Donald Trump and this communists that are running the show, it's all platitudes, and they're going to tell you, well, Donald Trump didn't fix healthcare, and this is the problem, or housing, affordable housing. He didn't bring the cost of goods down like he said he was going to do, which I don't know what Donald Trump could do to bring the cost of goods down.
Nothing.
Some of the housing issues, he probably could do some things to bring housing prices down. Lumber costs are through the roof. We've got issues with Canada, regardless. Well, the lumber industry doesn't want Canadian wood flooding our market. Well, you know what? If it floods the market, the cost of lumber comes down. Well, they don't make the profits. Your price of housing comes down because that's your biggest single cost in housing. But They're going to play this. You watch the messaging that'll come out of the mainstream media and the Dems and the socialists heading into this midterm election. Donald Trump promised to fix the housing prices. He hasn't done it. Donald Trump promised to do this. He hasn't done it. Keep in mind that inflation has only run 1 or 2% since Trump retook office, and it was up double digits under Biden. You can't recover from that. Ever. No, because then if your prices will never go down, because then you'll have stagflation or deflation, and then your economy really goes into the tank and you have a recession.
Unless you're a Green New Deal person who wants to tear down all the government buildings and rebuild them with union personnel on government contracts, at the end of the day, the government doesn't create jobs. It's a supply and demand issue. And at the end of the day, it is folly. You can't connect the dots for me that show me how government could ever create affordable housing. The reality is, if you get rid of all the illegals, 20 million conservatively, that's 20 million homes that are all of a sudden, well, actually they all live in 8 houses, so I'm wrong there. But at the end of the day, they got one set of jumper cables, and all my little cousins live in that bedroom. But they're in the way. The illegals are in the way. Supply and demand will take care of the market. If there is a challenge that the same greed that makes capitalism work, the pursuit of profit that makes capitalism work, is also the thing that creates a lag time in things like, I want affordable housing. When you're dealing with like commodities like oil, well, the people, the president, the government does not set the price of oil. The commodity traders do. And at the end of the day, there's a little bit of a profit taking. If oil ought to be trading at $75 a barrel and we can hold it at $80 a barrel just by talking about how bad the war is for 10 more days, $5 a barrel times all those barrels a day times 10 days, that's net bottom line profit. And they want that if there is and I don't even want to use the word flaw, but if there's a challenge with capitalism, it is human greed. Whereas opposed to, in the same breath, if there's a challenge with communism, it's human apathy, right? You've got no incentive to get up and go to work. You've got productivity suffers until you kill people.
And the problem one of many problems with communism, it doesn't take into account the fact that humans by nature want to succeed. They don't want to all live amongst themselves at the same level. Some people want to rise, others are okay with that. But the majority of humans, and it's not even greed, they want to succeed and be better. There's a thirst for knowledge, there's a thirst for wealth, there's a thirst for power, there's a thirst for the things that rise you above. It's animal nature. It's not even human nature.
That's right.
And communism doesn't take into account for that. You look at what communists do when they take over a country. The first thing they've always done is control the media because the messaging is important. They ruin education systems because they know that the educated masses are a danger to their way of doing things and thinking.
Right. Mexico keeps their people stupid so they can keep them in line. No doubt about it.
And then what do? And America's doing this on its own without any help. They take over and they make religion illegal. China has outlawed religion. When you look at what Lenin did in the Soviet Union and prior to that, Russia in 1917, when the Bolshevik Revolution took place, what did they do? They outlawed religion. Lenin was also smart enough to know, though, that if I destroyed all the churches and burned them all, I would have an uprising amongst the same people that I'm relying on for me to get power. So he didn't destroy the churches. He made religion illegal and kind of turned a blind eye to people still going to the churches over there. But those are the things they control. They control all of the food supply. the jobs, the education, the communication, and the religion. And that's how they keep you down.
Bruce Wood
And
says,
they've taken over religion in this country and education.
Bruce Wood says, wait till Cubans start flooding into Florida again by the boatloads. See, I don't want to do that. I would just assume we send about, 6 Navy SEALs over there and take over Cuba. Just take it over.
Well, apparently the CIA was working in secret task force to maybe exert enough influence for regime change in Cuba. I saw that headline yesterday. I'm not sure which outlet it was, but apparently it's no longer secret because we know that there's this task force designed to do that.
We always encourage, quote unquote, regime change, which always gets more locals killed than if we just went ahead and took it over ourselves. I struggle at times because I like to engage with people. I like to have debate, argument. I like to, especially when I feel like I know what I'm talking about. And you've got, like the other day, and I mentioned him because I like the guy. I can't help but like the guy. I was involved in a conversation with Mike Gomez. Now, Mike is a notorious, my party before everything, retired guy, been a huge beneficiary of American capitalism, who now is content. He's content to let the communists take over his party, but he says he's not involved in communism in any way. That's, again, the ignorance of the left. But Mike said to me something about that Ash and I didn't understand that the black vote is the foundation of the Democrat Party. I cannot help but laugh at why the Dems lose so many elections. Number one, the black vote. Ash, what's the percentage of African Americans, black people in this country?
16 to 18, depending on
18%. Did you know that the educated family member, I'm not talking about the guy on the corner with the 40 ounce that you can go by and talk into voting. The black educated family member with a job, that demographic is leaving the Democrat Party in droves. You hear it every day, not just from David Webb, a black man, not just from Larry Elder, a black man. You hear it from black pundits every day. We've been riding this Democrat thing for 60 years and it's gotten us nowhere. The educated, objective black voter cannot be relied on as a throwdown vote like it used to be. And it's funny to me that Mike Gomez, a Hispanic man, doesn't understand that the future of voting in the state of Texas is the Hispanic vote. And I'm telling you that the family-oriented, high percentage employed, predominantly Catholic/Christian Hispanic voter is not on board with the LGBTQ movement. They are not pro-abortion. They are family-oriented.
Well,
and
I
the
find it
Democrats
interesting
are losing them.
He also made a comment that he doesn't care about the stock market. And it says the guy who's living on a pension from Dow and who relies on the stock market to stay retired.
100%.
Good morning, Marina.
Hi, Marina. Yeah, Bruce Wood says, not just my black friends, but also my Mexican friends. More and more.
Well, look who they replaced that voting bloc with. The young, indoctrinated, uneducated people.
Yeah, the college kid who's never held a job. That's the problem. Like, again, the voting age ought to be 25. Let's take a quick break and remind you that today is post-Caldo Thursday after Caldo Wednesday. Get in to Veracruz today for a full menu minus Caldo. USA Foundation Repair. Let them come out and put down a new deck surface around your pool. It's a great time. You're getting close to the end of the season. You know, it'll be cold sometime in October. Let them come out and do that. Don't just replace that coping. Let them coat that coping. They can put down any color you want, different textures. Allen's Wrecker Service. By the way, USA Foundation, 578-HOME. 578-6300. That's Allen's Wrecker Service. Let Allen help you. I saw a video the other day on the Dallas North Tollway. Big rig changing lanes. He moved from the left lane to the right lane. The trailer kept going from the right lane to the shoulder. Next thing you know, he's upside down. He needs Allen's 75-ton crane. That's what you need. If you need a jump on the side of the road because your battery's gotten hot, call 578-6300. Went Services for all your generator needs. Generac, American-made, turnkey generator service. Let Went help you, whether it's a plug in a barn or new ballasts for all your lights so you can run. Oh, there you go. You're still on the screen. Where you can go LED, they'll take care of you. Reach out to them. Paravita Wellness and the Vita Cafe. Go in for I call it a California-style wrap. It's healthy. It's all fresh. It's all handmade. There's no gluten. There's no preservatives. There's nothing else. We're blessed to have in studio Commander Cody.
How y'all doing?
His camera's gone, or I'd put him on the camera.
Yeah, I don't have a camera.
Tell him what Brand Us does.
We build websites and do social media and do advertising. Today, we're going to be at the Small Business Fair here in Victoria. And
I did not ask you where you were going to be.
This is about me, not about you.
Okay. No, seriously. Where are you going to be today?
So we're going to be at the Small Business Fair in the old Victoria Mall. And we'd love for you to stop by and learn about us and some other great businesses and enter for a chance to win some cool prizes.
Is it a business fair for small businesses, or is it a business fair that's going to be small?
It's a business fair for small businesses and nonprofits.
There you go. We'll get by there. I know I mentioned, but it's very interesting to me that when everybody thinks the economy is in the doldrums, Globe Life is having 670 vendors today.
That's crazy.
In Dallas area.
We might not have that many in Victoria.
But listen to what I'm saying. It goes from big cities to small. Ricky King says, give him a call. I'll give you his number.
I got Ricky's number.
All right, we'll call him. He wants you to call him. He loves you.
Well, you know what's interesting? Go on with the Globe Life thing. Hello?
I'm here. I was waiting
where
with
did he
bated
go?
breath.
No, I was telling you to go on with the Globe Life thing.
Oh, the Globe Life thing. So check this out. About 5 years ago, some lady up there, and I'm not trying to give accolade, to anybody. She started a job fair, if you will. And this year, they have 670 vendors, had to move it to Globe Life Stadium, and they're interviewing people for 66,000 jobs in North Texas alone. So It's interesting to me that in Victoria, Texas, certainly it's not Small Business Day. In Victoria, Texas, you also have a small business fair going on. Don't tell me the economy isn't booming. I don't care that HEB, for example, could be price gouging you a little. When the price of diesel comes down, the price of groceries will follow. And you've got to understand, if the worst thing that can happen, I get it if you don't like the Iranian conflict. That's fine. Let's say you're totally against the war. The fact of the matter is the war is what is allowing speculators, oil companies, grocers, truckers are more of a victim, but these people affect your pricing. I'm saying that if the war is just, if the action is necessary, then a little more at the grocery store is not a bad price for you to pay for your freedom. So,
well, in the last, and even locally, in the last 2 weeks, And next week, Workforce Solutions of the Golden Crescent is having a job fair for opportunities in Cuero, Yoakum, and Victoria. They had one last week for some opportunities with Golden Crescent Staffing, or Coastal Bend Staffing, a staffing company. So don't tell me that there aren't jobs out there. And if these people are going through the proper channels and they're holding a job fair at Globe Life Park, guess what? These are the jobs that Americans will do, and they're going to hire Americans to do them.
Right. No doubt about it. Let me go back to where I was. Lisa Poole added, DJT's chopper came dangerously close to colliding with a jet over DC. You'll remember a couple of years ago when the Army helicopter got in the flight path of somebody going into Reagan Airport and they collided. The news breaking says, this is from the New York Times, a helicopter carrying President Trump is said to have come within less than a mile of a jet above Washington on Tuesday. That's certainly not ideal, but at the same time, I don't think anybody's saying it was intentional, and I don't think it's that big a deal. Bruce Wood says, I'd love to have you guys talk with Mother Cluckers and what went on with the city of Victoria. I will tell you this. I'm not even sure if I've told Ash this, but in the morning, we will be joined here by City Manager Jesus Garza. And I vow to ask him about that. I'm convinced that this is one of those situations, not that anybody is not telling the truth at all, but from a perspective standpoint, there's Mother Clucker's perspective, there's the city's perspective, and somewhere in the middle is the reality. And I don't believe, and I would certainly be the first to pile on the city. You folks know that. There's a misunderstanding here. There's a lack of communication here. And sadly, somewhere in there, there's people's feelings. Somebody got their feelings hurt.
Yeah.
So we'll have to
I've
see.
done a little digging on this. There was a lack of communication and upfront, because Mother Cluckers has run this Mary on Main trade show, I guess, for lack of a better term, market days type of thing for several years.
Right. Which, by the way,
and-
greatly benefits Mother Cluckers, and Mother Cluckers very much benefits downtown Victoria.
Well, and I think from what I was told, the city was catching some heat by letting Mother Cluckers profit off basically the city.
See, and I would go a step further and say, I'm not sure there's any profit there, because it's a lot of dang work to put that thing together.
Well, and the city used to do it and doesn't want to do it anymore.
Right.
And so they went and got somebody else to do it. They didn't inform Mother Cluckers of this. They kind of found out it through back channels. And then the people that the city went with to do this backed out. So now you have a void, and I don't know what's going to happen. In my opinion, the whole thing should have been run and organized by the city, because here's the other thing. The city was getting nothing from this. They didn't charge Mother Cluckers. They weren't taking a $5 fee from every vendor that signed up. But the city was providing barricades, workers.
Right. See, I don't know. I won't, because, and we'll do this tomorrow with Jesus, but
Yeah.
I could go the other way and say the city shouldn't be involved at all. I mean, they should provide the same travel, the same traffic control that they do for a parade or for anything else. That's your tax dollars, and they're there, and the staff is there to do that. Maybe the city ought to just stay out of the way, which I have to believe they would be content to do, especially given that they weren't making any money off the event anyway. Quick aside, Katie Jackson says the president was not on board the Marine helicopter that was within a mile of a jet. That, if you've ever been to DC, it's not that big. I mean, a mile is a long way unless you're walking from the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial or Lincoln Monument. That's a long walk, but planes fly over constantly all day long. So she says the president wasn't on. Now, Jonathan Williams has a good idea. He says we should bring on the Mother Cluckers lady at the same time and kind of get some Judge Mills Lane going on. I don't know.
Well, I think, and part of the complaints that I saw were people complaining that if there were two people signing up vendors, there would have been confusion. That's
right.
BS. That's BS. You sign up with one vendor, you tell them to come check in with you when you sign up with them. You sign up with the other. No different than when you go to get your tickets at Will Call. You go to the booth that has your last name.
But somebody has to coordinate the placement of each vendor. And one thing that I've always observed down there is that if a business is open on a Saturday, and let's say it's going to be on Saturday, they don't put a food truck or a leather, Whittler or whatever. They don't put them right in front of that entrance. They respect the storefronts. And it could be difficult to coordinate that among multiple people. Jonathan Williams says Cluckers should get something out of the planning and organizing. No one would do it for free. Well, here's the deal. All of their members benefit from that. I mean, those people all pay by the month to be at Mother Cluckers. Now, I don't know. And Michelle Wilson-Hawkins says she believes downtown is losing Mother Cluckers. So I don't know. I don't know.
But I mean, I think.
We'll kick that around with Jesus tomorrow.
To me, it's no different than renting the community center. If you're gonna close up downtown for something, there should be some cost to that to do so.
Right. They charged us to use the pavilion.
Yeah.
Not much. The fees are nominal. Yeah, Jonathan Williams says Cluckers does intend to leave. I don't know if Jonathan Williams has an inside track.
No, but honestly,
maybe he shops at Mother Cluckers.
I can't believe that this is the reason Mother Cluckers is leaving downtown.
I'm sure it's not.
Because if it is, that's kind of reactionary and probably not very good business sense. There's got to be more to it than that, and I'm guessing there's just not enough traffic downtown to keep Mother Cluckers viable.
Feelings. Could be feelings. Feelings could be hurt.
Yeah.
We'll get to the bottom of that tomorrow with the city manager. By the way, I just know that the city has designated minions who report on the program to Jesus. So brief Jesus about tomorrow's Mother Cluckers discussion. Ricky King says yes. I don't know what he's saying yes to, but I like it. But everybody that has a booth there is going to pay city taxes. So their city is making money off of them. That's true, but that's kind of going down the same logic as you didn't build that. If it wasn't for our road, nobody could get to your business. Doesn't it kind of have that feel, Ash?
Well, but I also have a hard time believing with all the expansion in our city government in recent years that there isn't somebody that could have organized the vendor setup. Somebody didn't want to do a job and outsource it to Mother Cluckers, and then somebody got mad that Mother Cluckers was making all the money and they didn't get a shot to do it. But
all we've added is maybe half a dozen assistant city managers, and that is way below their pay grade. They're not doing it.
We just hired another one last week.
We did. I cannot wait to meet him. Apparently, he's very, very qualified.
Was at Beaumont before, was assistant city manager in Beaumont.
And look at Beaumont. It's great.
And I noticed something. Apparently, he has a lot of experience dealing with firefighter unions and negotiations between city and that organization. So that might be the reason why they hired him.
I think that's brilliant. So as the firefighters told you, this won't create any expenses for Victoria. This is going to be great. We deserve collective bargaining, even though we can't strike by law, but that's okay because that's the number one tool, right, of of collective bargaining is we'll walk off. JP Hall says this guy's a good guy. There you go. So there's a raging endorsement. And I agree. Everything I've read is very positive. Although I challenge him to show me any successes in Beaumont, because Beaumont is a toilet. Inner city, tons of gangs, terrible school system. The only thing, how about this? The only thing good about Beaumont is Peter McNally. Now, you take it from there. That's the high water mark in Beaumont. But this guy apparently will be pretty sharp. Yeah, Jonathan Williams says, next we'll have an assistant city manager for community relations hired out of Minnesota. Yeah, come from the Minneapolis St. Paul. He'll be Somalian too. Why not? Get another Somali in here. I'm going to try this week to reach out to the mayor of McKinney. McKinney just being overrun with Muslims. It's just an antbed of Habibs. It's just crazy. Something's got to give up there, or we're going to lose that section of Texas forever. It's very, very tragic, and nobody wants to call it out. So it just is what it is. I did have a guy on one of Mike Gomez's threads, and I didn't pay a lot of attention to it because it had been up there for about a week and it had 5 views. But he did say that, Ash, that you and I are racist, and that
no, I said we're racial.
Racial. I guess I'm yeah, I guess so.
Whatever that means.
Said that we use code words to hide. And I said, I don't know. I use words like idiot, communist, liberal. I don't think that if you don't need a decoder ring to figure out what I'm saying.
No, the code word is the Democrats or the communists who hide behind Democrats or call themselves Democrat socialists.
Right.
Those are the code words to actually hide that they're legit raging communists.
And the problem is the Democrats that we know, the Democrats that I grew up with, who choose to vote for those people because they are in essence voting against Donald Trump and anything quote unquote MAGA. I've never described myself as MAGA or Tea Party, and I'm really not a Republican. I'm just a conservative Christian guy who has a job and is tired of paying everybody else's bills, whereas the Democrats are absolutely the other way. Let's take the money from the police and give everybody a cell phone. Let's close down our prisons and give everybody a living wage. These are things that don't work in a free market economy. And at the end of the day, I just can't go along with a dude in a skirt in my daughter's bathroom, which the Democrats are like, I can't believe you're checking genders at the bathroom door. They are off the beaten path. There is the highway of concern, and they're on the farm to market road of stupidity, and that's where they dwell. We'll take a break. I'll talk to you about the WNBA because nobody else does. White Wing Materials, sand, topsoil, gravel, all different levels of aggregate. I want some river rock. Reach out to
They can get it for you.
Absolutely. White Wing Materials at 920 sand.
Dirt, sand.
Right. I was
Thank
waiting.
you.
They would never say dirt. They would say soil.
Yeah.
Chesnick Furniture right here. American made hardwood furniture. Buy it today. Deliver tonight. Chesnick saves you money. Probably not. That's not the point. Chesnick and Love.
We're going to be cease and desisted now by Mattress Mac.
Right.
Thank
I
you.
would love for Mac to call me. That would be great. I would be so thrilled to hear from such a patriot. Chesnick, inviting you to come in and see why you just always do better at Chesnick.
Great furniture. I love my living room set that I got from
Super nice people. They are the nicest of people. Go and see Bobby Leon.
And no pressure. You walk in, they don't, they'll ask if you need any help, but then
They
they
like
leave you
the
alone.
furniture. If you don't want to buy the furniture, they don't care. They like it. They like the furniture. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Next week, the 12th,
Wednesday?
Bob Constantine, Gary Moses, bingo night.
Memorial Bingo night.
That's right. For Palace Bingo. One time for all the old times. Come on out and celebrate the Brother Man and Bob Constantine.
You just wrote a Ray Price song, I think.
There you go. Right?
One time for all the old times.
That's right.
For the good times.
That would be Chris Christopherson, sung by both late. No, I guess Christopherson's still alive, isn't he? I don't know. He's making another movie with Barbara Streisand. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Lisa Poole says Mother Cluckers was helping to revive downtown Victoria. The city made a huge mistake in taking Mary on Main away from Mother Cluckers, thinking Mother Cluckers will be leaving downtown. Hey, City of Victoria, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I love passion over things that are so minute. Ricky King says there's a person that said they will get something. Transgender team to play in the NBA. Yeah, that's what they said, right? We talked about it yesterday. Instead of the Detroit Pistons, you would have.
It's funny that everywhere Sophie Cunningham goes, and because she strongly believes that transgender men should not be playing in the NBA, and I can't disagree with her one bit. But
of course not.
But it seems everywhere she goes, somebody has to then come out and go, well, transgenders should be allowed to play in the WNBA.
I can't wait. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And I mean this. I'm all in, because there can't be a worse professional product than the WNBA. It doesn't cash flow as a league. It's propped up by the thug, worthless NBA to the tune of $200 million a year. And let me tell you this. Sage Steele, ESPN person, she's a former 12 noon anchor on Sports Center. She just says, hey, look, these people have lost their minds. They've lost it. And I want this guy, it's a dude, if you've got a second, go Google up Julie Tetart, Tetart. Julie Tetart. This man, this straight up dude, is 6'3", 194 pounds of chiseled athlete who is a dude. It's a guy. Now, this guy, Lisa Poole says, no, keep men out of women's sports. At the professional level, it's all about entertainment. You can't tell me the Savannah Bananas is baseball. It's entertainment. So here's the deal. Since the WNBA doesn't matter at all to anybody with any sporting common sense, why not let this dude come over and expose the mediocrity of the product on the court? Because
look at what the WNBA is doing now. The WNBA is allowing the thuggery that the NBA wanted out of the NBA in the 80s and 90s with the Detroit Pistons. And in my opinion, the NBA has gotten too soft by not allowing hand checking and some of the physical play that naturally goes along with basketball. The WNBA is embracing WWE type of on-court tactics. They've had pushing and shoving matches after games. They've had some fights after games. This stuff is happening because it draws attention to the league, and that's what they want. It's not because their product on the court isn't that good.
And it's a huge hotbed for contrived racism. That's what it is. Every time Caitlin Clark gets pushed to the ground, which, by the way, she's become somewhat of a whiner. She is a fantastic talent.
She hasn't. She doesn't whine at all. She just gets up and keeps going. Everybody else whines on her behalf because they feel that they should be because she's not.
Well, except that she's kind of gotten this way with the officials and the crowd goes crazy. But it's like roller derby. John Paul Hull says $10 million to play a high school men's team. Clay Travis has offered that. It's hilarious. I'm going to tell you that, first of all, there are UConn teams that Gino Auriemma had that could beat the WNBA champions. There are. And I'll also tell you, because they play basketball. The other thing I'll tell you is when this Tetart person shows up, it will be so glaring and I'm not exaggerating to you at all, Ash, this guy, I've seen him play. He's a very physical person. I mean, he's 6'3", 194, and he ain't chunky. This guy would be a really serviceable, no kidding, pickup ball player. He's not a D1 basketball player. He's not going to play even at Texas. That dude's not playing at Texas. Let me look him up and see where he went to, where he played. He lives in France. Julie, who is Julie Tatar? There we go. We'll just go right there. And says if the WNBA called, he says he would answer. He wouldn't turn down the call. So he's
tired of living in Victor Wembanyama's shadow.
I'm trying to figure out what his story is, and it's just worth sharing.
His story is nobody pays attention to him, so now he's got to create some sort of controversy so he can be paid attention to. He's an attention hound who has some serious mental health issues.
But he thinks
he's a woman.
It's okay to call him an attention whore now because he is a female. He's 34 years old. He came out as trans in 21. He plays in Monaco. If they contact me, I won't say no, but you have to be realistic. I'm old, and there are far better players than me. He told Outkick. My deal is this. The dude wants to wear – yeah, he's Bobby Riggs. That's exactly the same old story, right? Obviously, it's a childhood dream, just like for any female basketball player, but unfortunately – it's not possible. But the dude.
Unfortunately, you're not a female, so it can't be your dream as a female.
No, it's hilarious because there's a photoshopped picture. I don't believe it's him. Of him like really looking ripped. But Sage Steele said, look, he can keep the breast. No, that is him. And he's ripped. I mean, he's ripped. And just says, look, Sage Steele said he can keep the breast implants and the braided ponytail, but he's got no business playing in women's sports. And I 100% agree that he doesn't. But I think what it would do is expose the fallacy of transgenders playing in sports, period. Because this guy, who is a literal nobody, who's 34 years old, would dominate the WNBA. That's my point. So people have said about Riley Gaines, who I think is somewhat of an opportunist. It's what she does for a living. And I also think she's very selfless because she isn't out there arguing that she should be given a spot on the podium, that she should be the champion. She's saying that when the guy from Penn won the swimming championship, that it was, even though she finished fifth to four other women or three other women, and that's what ought to happen. She's not saying I'm the best swimmer and this guy hurt me.
No.
She's saying I'm a competitive feminine swimmer and a guy broke a record that I can't break. What's the lady's name that holds the record right now in the 100-meter dash, Cody? 100-meter dash, 10.97, I think, is the 100-meter dash record for women. It's held forever. Is it Jackie Joyner Kersey or – it's been there forever. I think it's 10.97.
Florence Joyner.
And what's the record?
Loja.
1049.
1049. Did you know?
1988.
In 1988, what's her name?
Florence Griffith Joyner.
Flojo.
So that was in Korea.
In the Olympics, set the women's 100-meter world record, 10.49.
Says it was in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
USA.
In the USA. But so it wasn't at the Olympics. She just set the record at 10.49. Did you know that last year in the United States alone, 1,000 high school boys ran faster than 10.49? 1,000 high school boys ran faster than the world record for the women. Now,
wait till Usain Bolt turns 50,
and puts
And all
on a
of a sudden
skirt
wants to be known as Ursula Bolt.
and comes back and dominates women's track. If you think that's good for the country, if you think that's good for America, if you think that doesn't just slap in the face of Title IX, you are the problem. You are a leftist idiot. There you go. No code word.
Go speaking in code again.
Speaking in code, Miguel Torres, idiot. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. It's the top of the hour.
Bye, folks.
We hope we've equally offended everybody today. I hope you have a great day. Ash, have a safe day, my brother. I love what you've done to the studio. He hung up. Bye, folks.